This ExploreVM Podcast short was recorded live at the Cisco headquarters during Tech Field Day 15. Hello and welcome to another episode of the ExploreVM Podcast. This time we are live at Tech Field Day 15. We just wrapped up our session with Cisco. We're at their Cisco headquarters here in, I almost said San Diego, San Jose. Matt, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, thanks, Paul. Matt Crape here, Matt that IT guy on Twitter. I blog at 42u.ca, and we're in nice sunny San Jose at the moment, Cisco headquarters. Nice few, 3-4 presentations this morning from Cisco?
Yep, we had 3 presentations. Kubernetes on ACI, ACI version Generation 3, and then SP-WAN, was it?
Yes.
So what were your takeaways? I know we were chatting before we started this podcast about how neither of us are huge into networking, so it's kind of a new world for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just for reference, I'd say I probably have, like a CCNA level type of knowledge with networking. So some of the stuff was definitely over my head. I'm only mildly familiar with ACI in concept. I haven't deployed it in production or anything like that. But for the purposes of the presentations today, even though some of the stuff was over my head, I definitely enjoyed all of it. I sat there, I was listening to it, I was absorbing as much as I could. One of the big takeaways I found, though, throughout all of them is a lot of it's coming back down to programming and APIs, and with that comes along some of the DevOps stuff as well. So, I mean, to sort of take that a little bit further, we talked about initially their APIC and how it fits in with Kubernetes, and you can feed it YAML files. And the intent there is that basically also you have your developers submit configurations for your network, which then ACI will actually apply. So that's pretty cool in the sense of, hey, I'm the guy writing the application. I know what other containers this needs to talk to, whether it's a database or web server or anything else like that. So if I could submit that to the network team, who then is basically the one to turn that on and enable it, ultimately the ball is still in their court to get that running, but they're not left up to basically figure out the configuration themselves.
Yeah, I did like the integration there where ACI was acting as a middleman between what the DevOps engineers were doing with their configurations and what the network team would need to be doing with their configurations. That way, there's not this deep need to fully understand each other's language, which, again, that's where the world we're going to is you kind of need to know some of this, but you don't need to know YAML where you can focus on something like Python or whatever or other automation languages. So with the Kubernetes aspect, do you have a lot of familiarity with that? How did that come across today?
So I don't have a lot of hands-on practice with it. I'm familiar with a lot of the stuff in theory. What I found interesting is this is now my 3rd Tech Field Day in about a year, and at each Field Day event, numerous vendors have mentioned containers, Dockers, Kubernetes, all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely a topic that is, it's not going away. If anything, it's a good indication that it's growing in use. I'm sure we'll see at least some of those mentioned again throughout this Tech Field Day event. But it's, it's a clear indication that DevOps is a real thing and that there is benefits to it. Going back to what we were saying earlier, if all of a sudden your programmers are able to go a step further, and I think you phrased it perfectly by saying ACI is the middleman in this, that could very likely help speed things up as well as limit potential errors. If I'm the networking guy, I could easily miss a requirement between 2, 3, 4 containers, or storage or whatever like that. If I'm the guy designing the application, sure, I could submit, what I think is going to be the required configuration, but there might be a security policy that I don't know about. So having ACI in there, I think really helps a lot of organizations cut down on a lot of the back and forth between the different teams, if you will.
Well, Matt, I want to thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.